So today's topic will be dealing with refraction by spherical lenses. First, before going for spherical lenses, we have studied in the previous topic that refraction, understanding you haven't remember. I hope you remember. Or if not, please go through that video once again, and please go through the notes also, and then understand the concept of refraction clearly, and then move on to the spherical lenses topic. That is today's. So now over here, refraction, once again I'll tell you with the one small word that refraction is nothing but bending of light when one light passes from one medium to another medium. So you can see here, one medium will be the spherical lens, which is made up of a glass. Okay, usually this type of lenses or any one particular quantity or a material, it is made up of a glass. So that is a different medium, and outside is an air medium. Whenever a light ray enters from air medium to a glass medium, you know the bending of light takes place. So bending of light takes place means what? If the light ray is falling here, and the light will bend, and that itself is called as refraction by spherical lenses. So refraction, you remember. So now spherical lenses, one of the general examples I can take of is the spectacles. So these spectacles or these lenses, these itself are of certain thickness, yes, and these are made up of glass, and these are clearly, I can tell that this is one of an example for spherical lenses. And one more I can tell is a magnifying glass. I hope you all have seen, like in case any particular watch repair person you have seen or dentist you have seen, what they'll do is they'll to get a magnified image of a letter or magnified image of small little pieces. Like if you want to look it in a zoom way, like a bigger image of that. So that time they'll be using a lens called as a magnifying glasses. So those magnifying lens, when they keep it on a book, what will happen is those the letters will look much bigger. And that is a wonderful example for my lens. So you all have seen a lens, and now to understand what is a spherical lens this lens, it's nothing but imagine two spheres, two big spheres. If it is coinciding with each other, and this portion forms a thick glass place, a thick glass of the remains of that glass, and that itself is nothing but a lens. And this type of a lens, which is two spherical surfaces bulging outwards, okay, a spherical lens which has two spherical surfaces or two curved surfaces bulging outwards, such a lens is called as double convex lens or just convex lens. So these are the ones which has bulged outwards, or which has two curved surfaces which is bulged outwards, which looks like this, is called as a double convex lens or simply convex lens. Here on we'll be considering it as just a convex lens. We need not remember it as a double convex lens. So here you can see in the diagram itself, it is thicker in the middle and thin in the corners. Okay, it's something like this, thicker in the middle and corners are thin when compared to that of the middle. Then what happens is, when a light ray is made to travel parallel and made to fall on these lenses, that is convex lens, when the light ray travel parallel from far distance and they are made to fall on this convex lens, the light rays will get refracted and they will converge, or all the light rays will meet up at one point, or they will all meet together. Such type of bending is called as converging lens. Okay, that is converging of light rays. The light rays after refraction, if it converges, then we can tell that those light rays are passing through a convex mirror, and indirectly we can tell a convex lens, sorry, not mirror concept is already done. So now we'll be talking only about the lenses. So here lenses, such a lens which will converge the light rays coming from far distance is called as a converging lens. Okay, so now a clear differentiating between the mirrors and the lens. Mirrors will have only one reflecting surface, another surface is rough, yes, and whereas a lens will have two reflecting surfaces, okay, or two polished surfaces in which it does not reflect anyway. The lens will not reflect anything on the either sides, but instead it will just send the light rays, bend the light rays from one direction to another. So then you can see in the case of convex lens, it is bending the light towards each other, that is converging the light after the passing. So now in the second case, what is this type of a lens? This type of a lens who has two spherical surfaces and it is curved inwards. Okay, it is curved inwards, and this type of a lens is called as double convex concave lens or just concave lens. We'll be considering this type of lens as concave lenses. So concave lenses are something like this, which is thin in the inside, in the middle, thick in the corners. And these type of lenses, what they do is, when the light ray falls on them, they will bend. Instead of bending all the light rays towards each other, they will bend away, which means they are diverging the light rays after the refraction. So when the light rays falls on the concave lens, these light rays diverge themselves and move far apart. Okay. Now, this far apart movement is called as a diverging lens. That is divergence of light rays, and that's why these type of lenses are also called as diverging lenses. Okay. So remember, concave and convex are two different lenses. Concave is nothing but thin in the middle, and corners are thicker, and it is called as diverging lens. Why? Because the light rays after refraction diverge themselves or move apart. Whereas in convex lens, the lens is thicker in the middle and thinner at the corners, and you can see that the light rays passing through them, that is after refraction, will meet up at one point, and that is called as converging mirror. Okay, so these are the basics about the two lenses, concave lens and convex lens. And the basic difference also I told you all about the lens and the mirror, and do not get confused between the lens and the mirrors. They have very similar type of concepts involved, so do not get confused, understand it clearly and differentiate between two very clearly. Okay, so the next thing which you need to know, certain more basics about the lenses is, first thing is center of curvature of lenses. You have studied about center of curvature of a mirror, convex and concave mirror. Similarly, these lenses also have a center of curvature, which means, I told you all, every surface of a lens can be continued to form like a circle or a sphere, yes, and that sphere is going to have an imaginary center, which is not actually there. The lens is only this much, which it is not continued to form a sphere. I am just imagining that the lens is continued to form a sphere on either sides. Okay, something like this. On both the sides it continues to form, and the radius of that particular sphere, or the center of that particular sphere, you can see this here, is called as center of curvature. Okay, this center of the imaginary sphere of which the lens is going to be a part, okay, is called as center of curvature. So this center of curvature is imaginary again. It is not actually inside the lens. It is outside the lens, and it is imaginary. It is imagined to be the center of a sphere whose part is a lens, okay, or whose lens is a part of that sphere, and that is called as center of curvature. And you know, there is not only one center of curvature, there are two center of curvature for a given lens. You can see even in case of convex mirror or in the case of concave mirror, I extend them. You can see there are two center of curvatures. One is here and one more is this 2f. One is center of curvature on the other side. Okay, because there are two curved surfaces, there are two imaginary spheres, and therefore there are two center of curvatures on the either sides of the lens. So remember that. And next thing is about the principal axis, which you have studied in the mirror as well, and it is the same thing once again. There is a line which passes exactly at the center of the lens, and these lines are called as principal axis. Okay, there is only one principal axis in which all the center of curvature and the other points which are yet to be defined are lying, is called as principal axis. And the third thing, which was not there in the mirror, it is there now, that is called as optical center. The centermost point or the middlemost point of a mirror, you can see here. Okay, the mirror is something like this. The middlemost point within the mirror, it is not outside again, within the mirror. A centermost point within the mirror is nothing but optic center or optical center. So I can tell one thing, that if any light ray passes through the optical center, will not undergo any refraction. You remember in mirrors there was something called as pole. Pole and this optical center is much similar, not exactly the same, but they are similar. So remember that optical center is the centermost point of the lens, which is within the lens, whereas the principal axis is nothing but a straight line in which the center of curvature, optic center, all these points lie on. And center of curvature is nothing but the center of an imaginary sphere of which lens is a part. Okay, remember these three. The next thing is aperture. In aperture, in the textbook they have given that it is the effective diameter of a lens. So that effective diameter means it is nothing but how much of the curviness, how much is the curviness of that lens. That is what they mean by aperture. Okay, how much is the curviness, or I can tell effective curve or the effective shape of a lens is called as aperture. So you can write the same definition as that of the text, that is the effective diameter of a lens is called as aperture. And this aperture helps us understand what type of a lens, that is not convex or concave. There is something called as thick lens and thin lens. So if the curvature or the aperture is very much, this curve is too much, then it forms a thick lens. You can see I'll erase this most part over here. Maybe I'll erase this one here somewhere. Okay, this part I'll erase. Over here you can see if the thickness is more, of a particular lens, it can be concave or convex, the bending will be much more closer. Okay, that is, the bending will occur, the refraction will be much more, the more amount of refraction occurs, and that's why the understanding of thick lens becomes little more complicated because of more refraction and more factors to come into picture. So thick lens understanding will be a little more complex. That's the reason we'll be discussing for this particular syllabus of yours only the thin lenses, which is having small aperture, which means less curvature. Okay, the less curvature, small apertures means their thickness is less. Thin lenses, we are just dealing with the thin lenses. That is, you can see with the eyeglasses as well. These are very thin lenses. The thick lenses will be like this much fat, which we are not going to deal with certain things. So we'll be basically dealing with only thin lenses for right now syllabus. Okay, these are having small apertures. Aperture is nothing but an effective curve or the effective diameter or also the shape of a lens. So that is very important for you all to know. It's usually asked thing or most confusable things is about aperture. So understand aperture. Aperture understanding is very much for us to determine whether the lens is thick or thin. Okay. So right now thin lenses, I can also tell that if the curve is much lesser than that of the radius of the curvature. Okay. So that is center of the curvature. One more thing I forgot to mention over here is something, radius of curvature. Radius of curvature. It is already something which you have learnt in the mirror. The distance between the center of the lens to the center of the curvature is nothing but radius of curvature. Okay, distance between the optic center to the center of curvature is nothing but radius of curvature. Sorry, this is radius of curvature, but it is not optic center. It is going to be the surface. The radius of that imaginary sphere is called as the center of curvature. So remember that it is not to the optic center; it is to the surface of the surface of the lens. From the surface to the center is nothing but the radius of curvature. So radius of imaginary circle, of which the lens is a part, is nothing but a center radius of curvature. Okay. So remember that, and these are the basic idea for you all to understand about the lenses. And there is one more thing which you need to move on regarding to understand the next more concept, that is doing an activity using a magnifying glass. So take a magnifying glass, take a sheet of paper, and go sit under the outside your house. Right now it is lockdown, so please do not go very far. Somewhere near outside your house itself. Do not go very far. So what you do, one thing is take a paper and a magnifying glass. Sit there outside with the magnifying glass pointing to the glass paper, the paper, in such a way that the sunlight looks as though it is just a dot. I'm very sure you all have seen this experiment before or have done this, whatever. So this experiment you all have seen, then just imagine So what happens is, when you take a magnifying glass and keep it on a sheet of paper, there is a point of the sunlight which is going to fall at a certain point of the paper, and what happens there is the maximum heat is generated. You can also try it onto your hand, but not too long. So what you can do is take a magnifying glass and point it onto your hand. You will feel a sudden burning sensation at one particular point where all the light rays are falling. So that itself shows that the magnifying glass will converge the light rays and make to fall on a certain point. Okay, that is what we are going to deal with the next topic. That point, wherever all the light rays are converged and forming a small point, is called as a principal focus, which you have studied in the mirror as well. All the light rays will meet up at one point after converging, and such a point is called as principal focus. And same thing will be dealing with the lenses as well. So you can see the previous diagram which I have done over here. You can imagine this one. All the light rays are traveling parallel, and after refraction in a convex mirror, they will meet, all will meet at a one point, and that point is called as principal focus of that lens. Okay, so where all the light rays meet at one point after converging is called as a principal focus. And now you can ask whether concave lens also has a principal focus. Yes, concave lens also has a principal focus. Light rays diverge, I agree, but if I imagine them to meet up in the opposite direction, and that meeting up of opposite direction itself is going to form a principal focus. Okay, so they appear to diverge from a point, and that point is called as principal focus of a concave mirror. Whereas convex mirror, it is going to actually form the principal focus, so it is directly going to be principal focus in case of convex mirror. And one more thing, sorry, am I telling mirror more? So do not get confused, okay? If at all you hear mirror, imagine right now it is just going to be about the lenses. I don't know why the word mirror is coming more and more, so please pardon me. Okay? So let's go on with this. So there is only lens what I'm talking about. So here, the lens of lenses, there is one more thing about the lens, that is principal focus of a lens. If I send a light rays parallel in this side, they will converge and form a point on this side. What if I send the parallel lights in this side? They will again converge and form a point in this side, which means there are two focus points for a lens. Okay, which means on the right side one, and then on the left side once again. Okay, so for the concave mirror also the same thing holds good, which means that it is having a two focus point, f1 and f2. You can name it anyway, f1 or f2 in either sides or the other side. It need not be this side only, it should be f2, or this side only it should be f1. It is your method of naming the points. Okay, so remember it has two focal points, and the lenses have two focal points. Also, if they have two focal points, obviously they'll have two center of curvatures and radius of curvature. Yes, they'll have two radius of curvature. You already have known that this whatever distance from the optic center to the focus is nothing but principal, that is focal length. Okay, this is a focal length from the corner to this one, not to the optical center, from here to here. This distance is nothing but the focal length, and 2 times of focal length is nothing but radius of curvature, or it is nothing but the center of curvature. Okay, so radius of curvature is nothing but this point is center of curvature, and whereas the radius is equal to 2 times of focal length, and focal length is nothing but the distance between the this point, distance between the surface, this point, to the focal length. Okay, now it's not from the optic center. Remember, it's from the surface, outside surface of the mirror, outside surface of the lens to the focus point. So remember, these are the basic ideas which you need to know in order to understand the next concept. Okay. So, the next concept which you need to know about is the rules for image formation in lenses using ray diagrams. So the same way as we have studied in the mirrors, we have come across image formation using ray diagrams using the mirrors, so that is concave mirror and convex mirror. Just previously we have done it in the video. Right now we can move on for the image formation using lenses. So these are the 3 rules or 3 basic observations which we see when the light ray passes through a lens, that is convex lens and a concave lens. So I'll differentiate them clearly. This side is going to be just convex lens and that side is going to be concave lens. So in convex lens, when a light ray travels parallel to the principal axis, so this is a principal axis, I'll once again tell you all, principal axis. This is principal axis, and this is a light ray which is traveling parallel to the principal axis of a convex mirror, which undergoes refraction, that is bending, and then after refraction it will meet at one point, and that is nothing but the principal focus, okay, or the focal point, that is for principal focus, which means over here the light ray after refraction passes through the principal focus if the light ray is made to travel parallel to the principal axis, that is in case of a convex mirror. Whereas in case of a concave mirror, you can see that if the light ray is made to travel parallel to the principal axis of a concave mirror, it will appear to diverge from the principal focus. It does not meet to the principal focus, but instead it appears to diverge from the principal focus. You can see it is going like this, diverging, but it is appearing as though it is diverging from the principal focus. Okay, that is the first rule. If the light ray is traveling parallel, it will appear to diverge from the principal focus, or it will converge into the principal focus. Okay. The second rule, in that we can tell that this is the converse of this one. If the light ray is made to pass through the principal focus, then after refraction in the lens, it will travel parallel to the principal axis. The same thing for concave lens. If the light ray is made to appear as though it is passing through the principal focus, then after refraction the light ray will travel parallel to the principal axis. So this is one rule which is similar to that of the first rule, just a converse of it. Then the third one we can see over here is, if the light ray is made to pass through the optic center of a lens, light ray is made to pass through the optic center of a lens like this, then it will not undergo any divergence or any convergence. That means that it does not undergo any bending at all, does not undergo any refraction. So which means the light rays, if it is made to pass through the optic center or the optical center of a lens, the light ray will not undergo any refraction, any divergence or any deviation at all. So these three are the basic rules in order to understand the next important topic of image formation using lenses. Okay, so please go through this video, and there might be a little of confusion whichever you have. Please let me know, rewind this video once again and check what are the confusions you have. Please let me know if you have any more clarifications. Thank you.